You know, I bet I can guess what's on your mind.
Bet you can. Bet you can. Bet you can. Bet you can.
We are back.
You know, I bet I can
Another week, guys. House Rules Podcast.
We're doing it.
Rachel, you know how many weeks this has been?
17.
Episode 17.
NC 17.
Yeah, NC
420.
17, and it's 420. We're not big 420 people. Well, I like consuming marijuana in various forms, smoking, vaping, eating.
That makes it sound like you're a very big 420 person.
Well, I just think
Or you're saying you're a cannabis person, but you're not a 420
correct.
person.
Like 420, it's like, all right, it's a day we arbitrarily made up at some
Dude,
point.
I thought 420 was so dope when I was in high school.
You're one of those.
Like late high school. I mean, first of all, I was in high school. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like if I had to engage right now with a high schooler, I'd be like, hey, cool, have fun.
Yeah, okay. Anyway.
Like, have you talked to a 17-year-old recently?
No, I haven't. Why would I?
I don't know. Well, that's that trick question.
Wait,
There we
Rachel, I
go.
didn't even realize we didn't even start off. You were sharing it. We didn't even do our official intro of I'm Alex Getlin.
I'm Rachel LaForce.
This is our podcast, House Rules.
We're here.
Yes.
We do it. We live stream every Monday, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern.
Mm-hmm. And
YouTube, Facebook,
you got it. You nailed it.
Instagram. So we are House Rules. I'm Rachel LaForce.
I'm Alex Getlin.
and we have our shit together
We're two comedians. We're engaged
for now.
until we get married.
Yep. Which we don't know when. We had a
Yeah.
date, and now we're like, should we do it earlier?
Should we do it later?
Should we not do it?
Yeah, that's not an option. Wait, but let's start with our first segment we do every week.
All right. This is week wrap up.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself, it's getting longer. Feel the rhythm of the music getting stronger. Don't you fight it till you try to do that conga beat.
So we're still in quarantine.
What do you got over on that side?
I was fixing the headphones.
Okay.
What? This
I don't know. You're fiddling. I didn't know what you're doing.
I'm running the sound.
All
All
right.
right. I'm doing my thing.
So still in quarantine, day 479.
Yes.
It is interesting because I stopped keeping track because that will make me a crazy person. But I love a few people that I follow, and they do the same picture every morning, and then they'll
Okay.
say like whatever day it is.
Right, because I was like 479. What are you talking? But then, okay, so you.
So now I just check their story every day on Instagram, and then I know what day it is.
Well, you know what? We're exactly a month from. Exactly 1 month ago was when the mayor of LA instituted lockdown, and that night we were like, we got to go.
oh yeah. So this all of this enjoyment has been about a month for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, but the first 6 days we were like visiting your dad on the way to LA or on the way to Atlanta and stop. That was it felt weirder during our road trip. I think because it was all new. Now it feels kind of like, yeah, this is just kind of an inconvenience.
But I don't feel inconvenienced. I feel antsy.
Okay.
But I was talking about this, that there's a part of me that feels bad because, like, listen, hear me out, okay? I completely understand that, like, this is very, like, detrimental to, like, our economy, and a lot of people are hurting, and, like, all of these things. I understand this. But there is a part of me where I'm like, this is great.
Well,
I can sleep in, like, not forever, but I'm just saying, like,
You're finding a silver lining.
I decided that I had to. Otherwise, I was going to lose my mind.
Yeah. Well,
And so I'm like, I can sleep in. I've like getting a ton of writing done. I'm being able to like go at my own pace. I get to try this fun like slip back, Kourtney Kardashian hairstyle.
okay, sure. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Real quick, by the way, if anybody is listening to this on Apple Podcasts or watching our YouTube video, we do live stream this every Monday night. We mentioned that earlier. But for those folks who are chiming in right now on the live stream, love it. Thank you so much. We do not have our engineer with us. This is our kind of no frills on the road setup. So we're going to get to all your comments and questions after the live stream ends. But we do love it. Thank you so much. Please keep commenting. Let us know your thoughts. This is
Mostly positive ones. Those are more helpful.
I'll take constructive criticism if it's well thought out. But let us know also like what segments you're liking, because you have a lot of segments. If this is your first episode or you're chiming in, for the first time, we do a lot of different kind of games here, interactive stuff. So let us know what you like, what you don't like, any recommendations for stuff coming up in the future.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So this is week wrap up. We're whacking. We're not doing that. We're wrapping up our week.
Well,
which there not a lot happened. Very boring. Very boring week until about 4:00 today. And what happened?
I I look outside, and the house, literally catty corner down the street, is billowing out flames from its ceiling, from its roof.
So I'm inside writing with my writing partner digitally. So we're like FaceTiming and I'm writing. Nobody's in the house. And then I heard this huge bang, like this explosion. And I knew all the boys were out front. And I'm like, oh my gosh, something happened. I was like, Casey, you gotta go. I run outside and then I see it. And it's just this huge, and all of the neighbors are out. Some of them have their masks on. Some are just with their dogs. Like everybody's equally like, what's going on? Is this family okay? Like, because we're a pretty like close knit neighborhood, and especially because we're right in the cul-de-sac, so everybody knows everybody.
So we don't know what's going on. If there is any kind of like GoFundMe or anything for that family that the HOA puts together, what we hear about it, we're going to share it because I kind of feel like I'm part of this community now here in.
I mean, I know everything about the neighbor. Like, I don't know what has taken over me, but I'm just like, I know all the neighbors. I'm talking to everybody. I'm getting to know everybody's kids.
We don't even actually live here.
Well, but I think it's also because I grew up here. So a lot of the people in the neighborhood have, even though we weren't close, like we've all lived here. So they've all known me since I was in middle school. So it's like, oh, you're home. What are you doing?
Well, you know what? The one thing that it was sort of a weird feeling because, like, I hear the noise. I run outside. I see flames, and I see the fire department's there. It's like, okay, well, they're handling it. So then I'm just sitting watching, and it's like, wow. Like, I mean, I felt so blessed that that's not our house, and grateful that like we have, but also thinking like how helpless you must feel. You can't do anything. I mean, you're just sitting there watching your.
Well, and during quarantine. Yeah. Like the only place you can be is like sequestered to your home, and now your house is like, I mean, completely destroyed.
And you almost burned your house down once.
I did, my kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my kitchen did catch on fire, and I waited for the fire department outside being like, my entire house is on fire, and this is done. This is how it all ends.
But it worked out okay.
It did.
So shout out to our first responders.
But that's it. I think we should move on. Not a lot happened this week. I hate to say that was like the action-packed thing that happened. Yeah. But that's kind of.
That was it?
That was a reality.
Okay, but what do you want to jump into now?
I think we're going to do, should we buy this for our house?
Now, I love this game. It's hard to say what my favorite segment is on the podcast, but this is easily one of my favorites.
Okay.
So what this is, if you don't know, Rachel or I finds an item or several items online. We present it to the other person, and then we decide if we should buy it for our house. So again, let us know your feedback on these items. Let us know your thoughts. If you have recommendations, we're always looking for more. We'd love to hear what you guys have. But I emailed before the podcast. She doesn't know what they are. 2 possible items. Now, one, I know you're going to roll your eyes at, and one you're going to actually maybe like. Okay? Let's do the first one. So pull it up here. The first item, should we buy this for our house?
What is this?
Read it.
A nuclear explosion mushroom cloud model lamp.
So it's like a tabletop lamp.
Hold on. This says that there's a flash sale and that this was originally $49.90.
Yeah.
Let me hit you with this flash sale price.
Yeah.
$14.90.
What do you think of it? So describe it to people real quick.
So it's literally imagine a nuclear explosion mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But it's a lamp. I mean, I feel like it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I dig it, right? But to also explain to people, so it's not like a lamp like you turn a knob and a light bulb comes on. It's like the inside of the cloud lights up bright orange and yellow.
Yeah, they're calling it an exquisite display. Now, I don't know if I agree with those words.
Why?
But Justin wrote a review, and he said, this lamp is unbelievably cool, and had 4 exclamations. Totally worth the cost for a good birthday surprise for my dad.
I mean, $15 is pretty reasonable for any
Now,
lamp.
Brian Briggs says, nothing grabs the attention of the average person like an unexpected nuclear explosion can. And now you can decorate your home with your very own miniature mushroom cloud lamp.
What room would the mushroom cloud explosion lamp be appropriate for?
I don't know, a bathroom? That where if you drop a
I
bomb?
was going to say, okay, yeah.
Right?
What if you went to, like, you were single, you met like a super hot dude, Mark Wahlberg or Idris Elba or one of those types, and he had that was his like nightstand lamp next to his bed. First thoughts?
I have so many questions.
Like what?
I have so like, where do you get such an item? But now I know.
Yeah.
I don't know, because part of me would like, my initial instinct was to be like a psychopath, but also not, because it's interesting enough. Like, so many dudes don't have anything interesting in their house. If you're listening to this right now and you
fair.
are a single dude and you have like old collection, like pieces of furniture and BS that like has been handed down to you,
That's like every bachelor.
be an adult and go out and like buy some shit that represents you. And like,
Yeah, here's a better question, right? Give me like the top like 3 to 5 things that single like bachelor dudes need to stop having or like get immediately for their house to like it just has.
do not put posters on your wall unless they're in a frame.
Oh, that's obvious.
They should not. Is it?
I feel
I'll
like
tell you what, Alex, I spent some time on Tinder, and by my field experience, it's not.
Yeah, if you have thumbtacked posters as an adult,
No thanks.
what else?
You should have a clean bathroom. There's no
Yeah,
excuse. Your
that's a big
bathroom
one.
should be clean. I mean, man clean is fine. I'll take it.
What's man clean?
Like the floor, like the edges of the floor are still dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Like your bathroom was before we moved in
Okay,
together.
all right. How do you feel about like DVDs?
Nope. We don't
No,
need
that's
those anymore.
obsolete now.
But still, so many dudes, so many DVDs. Who has time?
Yeah.
You know? Like, if the only thing you have is like a box set of like gangster DVDs, not interested.
Goodfellas, Donnie Brasco, Scarface.
Brasco?
You don't know Donnie Brasco?
Well, it's Donnie Brasco.
No, I'm pretty sure. Is it?
Pretty sure it's Donnie Brasco.
If you're listening, let us know.
Solve this for us.
We'll look it up. I would use my phone, but it's live streaming on Instagram right now. Okay, so what are your thoughts? Can we get it?
No.
What? Why?
Where would we put such an item?
Desk in the office.
No. The office is where I go to clear my head. I've got plants in there, some crystals, and just some good energy.
Right, so only your stuff. That was in my...
I have your awful skull canvas that's up there.
Okay, anyway. That, by the way, that was in my Instagram sponsored ad. So what does that say about me?
Oh, everything.
Okay,
Everything
now
we need
this,
to know.
Now this next item.
Okay.
This next item, I specifically put in here because I think you actually might... Once we can not be shelter in place anymore, I think this could be a really good item for you.
Okay, that's nerve-wracking. Here we go. Here we go. Oh,
Yeah, thank you. It's...
all right. Be calm. This is the Blend Jet, the original portable blender. Be anywhere, blend everywhere.
A little ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Blend Jet was born out of a simple vision. Take the benefits of a blender on the go. We created a small power machine that lets you make fresh smoothies, shakes, or baby food wherever you go. Now, something tells me, I mean, there is also a part of me that I'm like, where am I going to be on the go? That I'm like, if only I had something to blend this with. Like,
But you love your little like daily harvest smoothies.
I mean, I love them. But, I mean, maybe I would check it out. I don't know.
Can you think of a scenario where you would want to have I guess you have to have the ingredients with you. 'Cause
Well, that's the thing. Like, I did like at least.
it's a portable blender,
Well,
by the
it
way.
would be cool if you're going camping.
That would
Like,
be good,
it would be cool to have while you're going camping.
Oh, you know what would be good for too, right? If you want to make a little, blended marg at a tailgate on the go or something.
Ooh, or like some fresh salsa verde.
That'd be good.
Ooh, love a fresh salsa.
Okay. Well,
All right, those were great.
It's $40.
Okay, that seems a bit pricey because you know that motor is going to go out after 10 uses.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, it'd be cool. Yeah, like if you're down to like make roadside margs one time,
Roadside margs.
then buy them. But otherwise,
Okay.
like, yeah, it's going to go out so soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
I guess.
Can I move us forward?
Yeah, we're done with the.
Okay, I'm really excited about this next segment.
Okay,
You
all right.
guys, this is our next segment. This is trailers.
Okay, so this segment, we take a trailer and we do a kind of quick and dirty review on what we think the film's going to be like based solely on the trailer.
Yeah. And this was just fun for me because I originally started watching trailers and I was like, this is a movie we've already seen, right? We
Yeah.
don't need to watch this again. That's
Right.
where it came from. So we've been asking people, send in your trailers, let us know like what we should watch. So the lovely Mark Blotner sent me.
Shout out to Mark.
Shout out, Mark. Sent me, and also a filmmaker in his own right.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And so he sent me a foreign film called On Body and Soul.
Yep.
Which was a great pick because I had so many things to break down. The only problem was you can like.
So part of the segment is I take a clip of the audio from the trailer, because a lot of trailers, there's like a lot of music that doesn't, that goes with you're watching it visually, but because, you guys were just listening to this, a lot of you. I just take a snippet of the audio, kind of gives you a good chunk of what the movie's going to be like, and then we kind of break it down. So since this is a foreign film, there's nothing we could play.
Yeah, that was the only bummer. So, but I wanted to Mark's credit, Mark, I gotta know, like, what are your thoughts on this movie? Also, if you're interested, and or if you like foreign film, because apparently this has like pretty good reviews. There was like, it's won a bunch of awards. So it's called On Body and Soul. But based off of watching it, I was like, what is happening? And there was so much to talk about. So if you do watch it, send me your thoughts and let's rap about it.
What is your all-time favorite foreign film?
Amelie?
I've never heard of that.
Oh, okay. I only said it because it's probably one of the most popular like white women foreign films.
I literally can think of one, because England.
Like if you met like a quirky, like I love Zoe Deschanel, and she was like, oh my god, I love foreign films, and you're like, which one? She was like, Amelie. It's like that's because that's the only one you've seen.
That would be like if they were like, I love classic rock, Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool. That's not to say that Amelie is not a great movie. Don't at me, okay? I'm gonna have some girl named Sarah just coming at me. Okay. So, but I did then watching that trailer, right? And then the internet's like, you should watch this trailer. So I did. So, I love Tom Hardy.
Who doesn't?
I mean,
that man is beautiful.
So beautiful, but also like he's the perfect example to me of an actor where you're like, oh, of course you would need to be an actor.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't do anything else because engaging with him as Tom Hardy, you'd be like, who am I talking to?
He's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the person that talks to you, but so look at me. He looks past you when he's talking to you. Fully
Right.
engaged, but looking past you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not looking for anybody else, but that's just what Tom Hardy does.
Right.
You know? So he's in the new, I guess, so if you're not in Hollywood, a lot of times what happens, a movie can be made, but if there's not distribution for it, then it just sits.
Yeah.
So sometimes a movie can sit for...
Ever.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of them do. So it can be fully made, produced, millions of dollars spent on it.
Never sees the light
But
of
if
day.
it can't find distribution, which means they literally put it out, then it just sits.
Yeah.
So this movie was one of those things. It's been sitting, I think, for like 2 years or something. And it was originally called Fonzo. So Tom Hardy is playing Al Capone, which I loved that the original title was Fonzo because I thought that was way more interesting because Alfonso Capone.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't know that.
I know. I told you that. I was like, dude, Fonzo was such a dope title. And you're like, where's that from? And I was like, Alfonso Capone.
Yeah. Well, let's play the trailer.
All right, here we go.
Do you know what the difference is between Adolf Hitler and Al Capone? Hitler's dead. Capone lives like a king in Florida.
He has full-blown dementia.
I have reason to believe it could all be an elaborate act.
What's this about?
We have information that your client may have tucked away a very large sum of money.
You can drop the hat now.
You got goons walking around.
So what's your take? Because I know that you kind of feel like, who needs this?
Okay, well, first of all, I know there wasn't a lot of dialogue in that one, which is what makes it so funny. So go and watch the Capone trailer for this,
Yeah,
okay?
that was just a little teaser, yeah.
It's just Tom Hardy making faces as Capone. Like, he's always just like this. There's like...
Wait, like what?
Just like this. There's like at least...
What would Tom Hardy as Capone think of the Capone trailer? Do it.
Like, what is this? What am I supposed to do with this? That's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
But he, like, that's all it is. It's just him making faces and then, like, that, like, drag thing.
Well, hold on. Do you know why? Okay, so...
Yeah, he had syphilis. Do you know this?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the whole...
I know more than you. I did a lot of research before we started this.
Okay, well, that's assuming I don't know my Capone.
Do you?
I know a good amount. So
What
listen.
do you know?
So, okay, wow, coming on strong. Okay, hear me out. So, what's
Have
interesting?
I ever not?
What is interesting is that this movie focuses on the last part of his life.
Correct.
Which is the only thing where I'm like, all right, maybe. Because I'm like, really? I know so many creative people that are writing amazing scripts all the time and nobody will read them, yet we're totally fine. Like, yeah, let's make another Capone movie. We'll call it Fonzo, though, to make it more interesting, but then nobody wants it, so we'll change it back to Capone. Like, that's the whole thing. So this all focuses on the second half of his life, and it's fact or not fully fact that that's what he died from was syphilis.
Yeah, well, he died from complications related to syphilis. So I didn't know this, but when he got it, penicillin didn't exist. Penicillin came out at the very end of Capone's life.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I learned a lot of interesting things. I went down a deep dive on Wikipedia learning about this. So syphilis causes dementia, they think, causes severe deterioration of your brain.
That I did know.
And they think balding can come from a lot of things, but they think also, they thought at one point at least that syphilis caused balding. So that was partly.
Uh-oh, telling me that a little bit late.
Shut the fuck up. So there was like weird stigma around that. But anyway, so he actually got released earlier than he was supposed to from prison. He went to prison for tax evasion because they couldn't nail him.
Right,
on
they couldn't get him on anything
else. He killed like
else.
33 people, but they couldn't. Right.
Yeah.
But because his health was in such a terrible state, his wife and his attorneys helped to get him freed earlier. And then
Yeah, he looks like shit in this movie.
right. So then the whole thing is like, is he really like an old dying man, or was it like hyped up to make him seem worse? But basically, he, from his complications post syphilis and dementia, he had like the brain capacity of like a 10-year-old kid, and he was living in Florida, and then he had some strokes and a heart attack, and he ended up dying from complications with the stroke that they thought came from his dementia. But I do think it's interesting, like that angle, like you said, it's not just like his whole, we've seen enough gangster movies, which have we? I don't know. I feel like there's always a good gangster movie ready to be made, right? But the take of the last part of his life is like, interesting angle. Like it's going to focus on that.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a thought while you were saying that of like, I feel like what's interesting is doing a gangster movie from the perspective of the family. So like if it's Al Capone, like I want to see a movie about his wife and like seeing that world through their eyes.
They did a little bit of that you didn't watch The Irishman, right?
No, I did.
You finished it.
Oh, maybe I didn't.
It's like
It was not.
It's like the War and Peace of gangster films.
But it also, there wasn't, I don't know. I mean,
didn't
don't
like it?
at me. I didn't.
I liked it.
I know everyone, like, listen, Joe Pesci, sure, can do no wrong. But it just felt like there was a lot of it where I'm like, okay, I've seen this before. Like, I've seen all of this.
Yeah.
And then the pacing of it was a little bizarre.
I did have to watch it in like installments.
And because I already knew the story. Like, so
Right.
sometimes that's hard if it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
If you already kind of know. But I don't know. I mean, listen, I could see why people liked it.
Well,
but-
listen, I can tell you this, that May 12th, Capone comes out on demand. So we could rent it.
I mean, you know I'm going to.
Why not?
I want to make, because then I'm just going to make a bunch of like meme videos of just Tom Hardy's face as Capone.
We have to start watching. We got to watch The Way Back from last week. We got to watch Capone. We need to watch these movies and then see how well our trailers match up with the actual movie.
I mean, dude, 100%.
Yeah.
It's all going to be scenes about them being like, Capone, you got to like release the power and this and that, and him like not wanting to, but then not knowing what's going on. And then like I get it. And then just Tom Hardy making faces. But I'm into it. I mean, Tom Hardy, his role that he plays in Peaky Blinders, if you've seen it.
He was in Peaky Blinders?
Dude, his role in Peaky Blinders is so good.
I didn't know he was on that show. I got to watch that show. That's on my list.
It's literally one of my favorite
Who would
shows.
be? I'm trying to think of like someone who would be like if they went totally like oddball and did like a silly Al Capone take, right? Like what if they had like Jack Black or like Jonah Hill play Al Capone,
I could see Jonah Hill playing
or
Al
like
Capone.
Josh Gad?
Oh, that's funny.
Right?
Also, Josh Gad, real fun follow on Instagram. Been following him. All right, I think that's time. Are we good?
We're good on that. If you guys have trailers to send over, please do. We'd love to see them.
Please always send them over. Again, just as a reminder, we will always plug all of them, but you want to, obviously, like a foreign film isn't as easy because we want to be able to play the audio. But we will always put up the video in the finished version of this that will go on our YouTube.
Yes.
All right. You ready for this next segment?
Oh, I'm ready.
Guys, this is Wellness or Whackness.
You take it back. Who's ever whack?
So this segment, I guess you could call it game segment, a little of both. If you don't know, similar to Should We Buy This for Our House, I find a wellness-related item or product. I present it to Rachel, and we decide if it's wellness or whackness. There's a lot of silliness out there. I think, now this is an item that also came up. A lot of this most of these finds are in my sponsored Instagram ads.
Okay.
So this is a thing, before you open it,
Okay.
I don't know if it's real, if it works the way it's supposed to. This will be good for us. We should get it, but I'm skeptical that it actually works how it's supposed to.
Okay, here we go.
It's something we got to fix.
What do you mean we have?
Are you perplexed?
Oh, I've seen these. Okay. I also want one to know if they were. Okay, so this is the upright pose. You can find this at uprightpose.com. So this is like a little sensor that you sit in between your shoulder blades. And so when you start to slouch, it buzzes and then you sit upright.
Well, so there's two modes. So there's buzz and no buzz because it syncs to an app on your phone. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want to have the buzzing, you can just look at the phone. It'll track it in real time. So if you can see how many hours of the day you spent slouching versus upright without the buzz. Now the buzz tells you like, oh, got to correct it, right? But
you look very funny doing that. But I'll tell you what, there's a 15% off spring sale.
I know. Yeah. So right now you can get it for $68 instead of $80.
It's $80?
Normally. That's a lot of money, right? And if you want it with a necklace, it's $85. So if you don't, so the way
with a necklace.
Well, so this is how it works because it has like adhesive that you have to stick on your back.
Okay.
But if you don't want to have to like put the adhesive on, or if you just don't like that, it has a necklace that you put on and then it hangs. Like it's designed to hang opposite.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know if you know about this. There's the original Go, and now they've got the all-new Go 2. So the first one, let me tell you the differences. The first one only lasts battery 10 hours. Go 2, 40 hours.
Oh, that's way better.
Okay. Now, the original Go, single sensor.
Okay.
The Go 2, multi-sensors.
Wow.
And then, the original Go, it only has long-lasting adhesive.
Okay.
And the Go 2 promotes 40% wider adhesive. Wow.
Well, I guess.
Let's see. Here we go. What people are saying. All right, so Jane S. says, slouchy no more. It really works. A little buzz on my back every time I get out of alignment is the perfect reminder to sit up straighter. Smiley face. I notice myself being cognizant of my posture even when I'm not wearing it. Definitely recommend.
The thing is, I feel like if you need it, you're not really going to take it serious. You know what I mean?
Like who's somebody who really needs it? Well, I feel like it's just becoming aware of your body.
Right.
Like I notice it all the time now because it's such a big thing for me.
Yeah.
But I think it has to be building up your core to be able to hold, because to me, the reason why I slouch is that's more comfortable.
Oh, right.
Than like sitting upright.
Yeah, you really have to help with your posture, strengthen your core.
Yeah.
We just got to start planking more.
Well, we've already decided that. Oh, these quarantine bodies, y'all. This is getting real.
Yeah. If your quarantine bodies get a little silly, let us know your thoughts.
I mean, hit us up.
Dude, it has not been good.
It is so real. Okay, well, I like that one. So that was a wellness. I would say that's a wellness.
Not whackness, wellness. Yeah.
I would think that's a wellness. Yeah. So, guy, we always re-intro the show. Yeah. We're in the middle of the show here.
Before we do that, I'm going to tweak the stream a little bit because I can tell it's like really lagging.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to try and fix that just a bit.
Okay.
So thank you guys who are watching right now. Steve says buy the lamp. Thank you, Steve. Yes. By the way, if you listen to my other podcast, Thin the Herd, Steve was just on. He has an amazing podcast called Things Police See. It's so cool. I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's all about police officers in the line of duty and sharing their personal stories. Okay, let's see. Hopefully that's a little better. I know it was kind of lagging on the stream a bit. Hopefully that fixes it up. So thank you guys for bearing with us here. Okay, let's see. Hopefully that's a little better. I know it was lagging on the. Okay, there we go. All right.
Okay. So, again, you guys, welcome to House Rules. I'm Rachel LaForce.
I'm Alex Getlin.
We live stream every Monday, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. For right now, right here from Atlanta, Georgia. And then we judge up these episodes. You can see the full video episode will drop on our YouTube, and then the audio version will drop every Friday. And that's at Apple Podcasts or wherever you find your podcasts.
Yeah.
So we're going into the meat of our show right now. Everybody's favorite. This is Rachel Learns the News.
All right, now this was, if you guys don't know, this was kind of like the OG segment, the original segment that really got this show started, where I basically find different news articles, present them to Rachel, and she gives us her take. Now, I try to find not major top headline stuff, but either kind of weird, wacky stuff, cute stuff, or really sweet, fun stuff. So this is all, we start really heartwarming, then get interesting, and then get like, oh my God, all right?
That was so charming.
I'm just setting you up. So the first one's really sweet.
Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Aww. SNL's Michael Che pays rent for everyone in building his grandmother lived in before she died of the coronavirus.
Now, very sad, obviously, that his grandmother passed, but what a wonderful way to honor her, right?
I'm honestly surprised that Michael Che has that much money.
Well, he's a main cast member.
Yeah, well, I guess he's been a head writer now for like
Yeah.
2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, he's for sure getting $1 million a season. No, you don't?
No.
For a head writer of a major show like that?
I don't know if they top out at $1 million. Maybe they do. I could be completely wrong. I just know that well, he might be close to that now.
Let's see. Head writer,
Yeah.
main cast.
Yeah. Head writer 2 years in a row.
Right. Stand up. He has a stand up special.
Oh,
he
yeah.
tours as
Okay,
a comedian.
Okay.
He probably has other gigs that he writes for.
Yeah. Saturday Night Live, Michael Che said he will pay the rent of all residents in his grandmother's former building in New York following the death. Oh, it's so sad of her, following her death of the coronavirus. On Wednesday, Che announced on his Instagram that he would be paying 1 month's rent for the 160 apartments in the New York building. It's crazy that the residents of are expected to pay their rent. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, 160 apartments. So it's for 1 month, but he did say he's hoping that it will inspire other people that are way more wealthy.
I know
than
that's
him.
just a drop in the bucket, so I really hope that the city has a better plan for debt forgiveness for all the people in public housing at the very least. Amen.
I know, right?
Wow.
It is weird. I mean, yeah, it's just like, what do you do? We're still in the really early stages of this, but like at a certain point, there's going to be like millions of people that just have no money left. No money. They can't, like, what are you just going to evict all of them?
I don't know. It'll be interesting because it like if it does go that route, or as it continues to go that route, then we're hitting a modern depression. So what happens? Because it's like, how many more tent cities are there? You and I in Los Angeles, there's tent cities everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like, but what happens when I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I don't have enough education on it to really speak to
No,
it.
I don't either.
Shocker. I know. You're like,
Right.
You don't know more about the economy? Great. Can I go into the second story?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, here we go.
This may be my favorite one.
Okay, here we go. Dogs might be able to sniff out the coronavirus.
Now, so basically the way this works is they can train dogs to smell different illnesses. Illnesses give off different certain diseases and
Yeah,
viruses.
they're pheromones.
Yeah. And so I have a family friend, for example, who's a diabetic. And when her blood sugar drops, her dog knows how to sniff it out and then does like a certain kind of like bark and spin move, and it tells her to take her insulin. So like think about that, right, though? Like on the one hand, it's like, whoa, cool, cute, but imagine you're like at a public event.
Takes Paw Patrol to a whole new level.
Boo. Boo.
Oh, it's too good. It's too good.
That is
I mean, if nothing else, it was quick.
No, it was,
you know what I mean?
It was quicker than my reaction to hit the soundboard.
That's all right. I was going to let it go.
But imagine like you're like at an event, right? And then it's like they got dogs here. It's like, oh, hide the drugs. We don't have any drugs. It's like, no, dog, sniffing for the COVID, and you can't like go into like because they have like the sniffing dogs.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
Pretty cool though, right?
Yeah, I mean, not a ton of information in this. It's kind of more of
Still in the very early stages.
Well, it's more. Don't think it needed to be a full article. Probably just a sentence. It's like, dogs might be able to sniff out the coronavirus.
All right. To my credit, it was really hard to find like sweet news these days.
No, I agree. I think it's great. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the article. It's all right. Moving on. Here we go.
Oh, you're going to laugh at this one.
Testicles may make men more vulnerable to coronavirus. Every eunuch everywhere is so happy right now.
So I found this out. So apparently the virus lives in certain kind of proteins that exist in different organs, and in the male testicles, it's called ACE2. It's like some long name that I can't.
So
pronounce.
that would make sense why women or men are more susceptible than women.
Well, so they think that's part of why, because in a lot of the studies they've done, that it takes men longer to recover, about 30% longer than women. Now they don't know for sure if it's
because COVID stores in their testes.
Well, it could be that. So it could be because men also tend to have less healthy lifestyles. They tend to smoke more than women. They have higher blood pressure than women. They tend to have different kinds of stress on their body than women, and they think that could be a factor.
Do you think that's because men don't talk about their feelings as much as women?
I think that I'm sure that is part of it. I think more so. I mean, men in general do to generalize, tend to do. Did you hear that sound?
Yeah, it's just from the computer.
Oh, sorry. I thought I muted the computer sound. Okay. Anyway, we'll edit that out. I think in general, men tend to do more dangerous activities. I mean, look at us. We're riding bikes in the neighborhood. I'm going a normal pace. You refuse to go more than 3 miles an hour down a hill.
We can't compare the women to my inability to ride a bike. That's not fair, and I'm not going to put that on everyone else.
I think you're correct that I think men bottle up their feelings more than women, so that probably adds to a certain kind.
I mean, that's gotta I think back also, like the 50s and all the men that started drinking at like 2 p.m. at work. Like, no wonder, dude. They were probably miserable.
That is true, but also
took them 3 hours on the train to get into New York City in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, they're so tired by the time they get there.
That's true, but also men tend to have careers that are more physically dangerous than women in general. Like to generalize.
Sure, to generalize.
Police,
but I don't
firefighter,
think
soldier, construction.
But I don't think that I know, but I always go back to saying this. And a lot of that is because they didn't have women didn't have the opportunities for those jobs.
Yeah, I'm not taking a stance on that. I'm just saying the physical stress on your body over. If you're a roofer for 40 years, when you're done, you're going to be in way worse shape than if your wife was like a school teacher or something.
I was going to say, sure. But also, I mean, if you've ever stayed at home with toddlers, I mean, you would think that your body's going to die too. You know what I mean?
All right. Anyway.
Okay. I've got one more.
One more article.
Here we go. Here we go.
And this one is this is a really long article, but I got the highlights for you. We're going to talk about it because this is one of those things where it's like, oh
what?
God.
Okay. Here we go. Sorry, really quick. I love that, first of all, that MSN.com still exists. That's great. Shout out to Microsoft for still going.
Yeah.
Second of all, not Microsoft. I understand what Microsoft is, but you remember
it was like a Microsoft related thing, I thought.
Yeah. Okay. I'm moving on. But
read the headline.
But clickbait article, I just don't trust anything we read anymore. Okay. The last cruise ship on Earth finally comes home. Okay, so let me fill you in real quick. Literally today, maybe like yesterday at nighttime, depending on exactly when it finished, but there were 3 cruise ships left out in the world cruising around, and all 3 just finally finished their cruising because of COVID. Now let me fill you in on some details here, okay? Now this article focused on one, it was the MSC Magnifica. I think MSC is some like boat abbreviation, I don't know. But it left Italy on January 5th. Set sail. Was one of these like 6-month around the world excursions. A lot of retirees and people do that, right? January 5th, no one's thinking about COVID, some weird thing in China. They're just, out there. They're going to be on the ocean for 6 months. And then they get to Brazil on January 19th. By the way, the boat had 1,760 passengers. 1,760 passengers. A lot of people on this boat, right? Get to Brazil on January 19th. Some ports are kind of starting to get a little iffy, still normal. They hit Chile February 21st, and then they're like, oh, crap, like stuff's closing. What do we do? By March 14th, their last stop, they were able to get off and explore. They were in Tasmania, and then basically from that, they were allowed to go to Sydney, Australia to refuel, get food. They weren't even allowed off the boat. And then they'd said, well, you have to stay on the boat for 5 weeks straight. It's going to be 12,000 miles. And we're going to get you home.
So again,
Wait, so where was home? Italy?
Italy.
Why, when all of this started, did they not go, we're going back to Italy now because we might not get home?
Well, it wasn't like it was a couple things. One, because it was like a 6-month world cruise.
Oh, they were already planning on being on the cruise for 6 months?
Yeah.
Oh, then I don't feel bad for them.
No, but they left January 5th, right?
Right.
To do like a worldwide, like you toured
Right,
the-
and then they haven't been able to go anywhere. But that's a totally different story. It still sucks. Like, I'm sorry, but also like you're on a cruise ship for 6 months. Sorry that like it didn't get to go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, ugh. Somebody's like, I can't believe we're stuck on this cruise ship and we don't even get to go anywhere. Like, you were already just gonna be on a cruise ship traveling the world for 6 months. Like, sorry that you then just had to be on the cruise ship but couldn't get off.
Yeah, but also, okay, I get that. I guess my point was like, it was just interesting, like the domino effect. Like they're scrambling to figure out maybe this country will let us in. Maybe
Sure, but
one,
that
and
part's
then-
not as funny to me. That's just like real life.
Okay, well then they get to so normally with what I think is so hilarious. Imagine in this scenario, right? Because they go to all these different ports. So let's say you're like the cruise ship comedian. So you're on the boat for a couple days. You get to port. You hop off the boat. You get in another boat. You do your thing, right? But after Sydney, they're on that boat for 5 weeks, no stops. Imagine if you're booked as the comic.
Dude, but I actually think that'd be great. You could try so much new stuff. Like you could literally do whatever you want because people would also be like so desperate to laugh.
Yeah, that's true. Well, actually, what's funny is they interviewed people on these boats, and a few crew members were able to get off at their home countries. There was one guy from Sri Lanka. He was the only Sri Lankan on the boat, and he actually
Humble brag.
the country wouldn't let him in. And then he made a Facebook post like begging, like just really sad. And then his friends shared it.
I'm sorry, that's just sad.
Yeah, he's like, I want to go home. I'm stuck here. When I get to Italy, like, because his whole thing is like, I am like one of the poorest people on this boat, right? I'm like a lowly cook. When I get to Italy, I can't afford to like fly back to Sri Lanka. Let me just get off in Sri Lanka.
Oh, okay. That part you didn't explain.
Sorry, so that clarifies it, right? So he made a Facebook post. His friend shared it. It made it to the president of Sri Lanka, and they made an exception, let him off. He had to quarantine for a while when he got on land, but still pretty cool, right?
Wow, power of social media.
I know, right? But the folks, the passengers were, and a lot of the crew who stayed on the boat, they were saying, you know, actually, like once it's like set in, we became like best friends. It was like being with a giant family, and we all just kind of were like in it together.
Yeah,
and-
because they're still on a boat. Like, listen,
yeah, I love your
because they're
take.
still on a cruise ship.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you know what? We all decided that we were going to muscle through. Oh, thanks. Good for you. Being on this like luxury 6th-month liner.
Well, the other,
Because the funny thing to me would have been if it was only supposed to be a 4-day cruise.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
right.
They thought they're going on a 4-day cruise and then they're just stuck on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean for like 2 months.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
That is funny.
Right.
I mean, imagine if like a couple went on there to save their marriage, you know?
Well,
and then
that's
day
like-
4, they realize like, there's nothing else we can do. Like we've tried, like this was, Isaac, this was our last ditch effort. And like, this isn't going to work. And then they're like, okay, fine. You know, I'll find if there's another room open and I'll sleep somewhere else. But there isn't. And then they just have to sleep in this tiny room together.
Yeah.
I can tell you want to say something, so you're not actually listening to what I'm saying.
No, I am listening.
Uh-huh.
But that's a storyline on that show, Avenue 5 on HBO, where there's a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't want to do a cruise with you. I'll travel with you. I would love to do stuff, but
Is that because you don't like cruises, or you don't want to do a cruise with me? Because you very specifically said, I don't want to do a cruise.
I don't want
with
to do
you."
a cruise. I wouldn't even want to do a cruise if they were paying me to be the comedian on the boat. I wouldn't. It's not my.
Yeah, I dodged that bullet. When I got hired for Second City, I went into my meeting fully thinking that they were going to be like, we're putting you on a cruise ship.
Yeah, they're big in the cruise world, right?
Well, not anymore, but they were.
Oh, okay.
And this was like prior COVID. It
Yeah.
wasn't like that's what took them out. But
Could you imagine?
I can. And so I thought fully, I remember calling my writing partner, who's still my writing partner, Casey Whitaker, shout out, it's her birthday tomorrow. And I was like, I'm going to go in. She's going to offer me the cruise ship and I'm just going to take it. I had just gone through a rough breakup and I was like, I need to get out of here. And then I
Yeah.
ended up touring instead, which was great.
Smart
so
move.
I didn't have the exposure of doing the cruise ship experience.
Yeah, I just don't think. It's just not for me. It's not. We don't have to do too much cruise talk. It's just I don't know. I'm not into it.
Yeah.
It just feels like.
But you know what I thought cruises? You want to know how I know a cruise is not for me?
Why?
Because you know when I was super into the idea of it?
When?
When I was 13.
Oh, yeah.
Here's why. Because my guy friends,
Okay.
they would all go on spring break together.
Right.
Okay. So we were like 13. This is like 7th and 8th grade.
They went on spring break together as 13-year-olds?
Well, no, with their families.
Oh,
So,
that
like-
makes way more sense. I was
the
like,
two of
what?
them- just 3 13-year-olds
Like
getting
their
on a
moms
cruise.
and dads all coordinated.
Yes, and so
Okay.
they would all
That-
go
that-
together.
I get
But
that,
then they
yeah.
would come back and they all had stories about like other like kids that they met because there were like kids dance floor rooms. So they were all
yeah.
experiencing like their first crushes and kisses.
They were the cool kids.
Yes, and they were experiencing like kisses and like all this stuff and like making out.
Those little vagrants.
That sounded so like to me. I was like, oh my god, they got to go on a cruise, and then they like made out with somebody like on a disco dance floor. Like to me, that was like the most like sexy, like you
That's so
know,
funny,
ready
yeah.
for prime time thing that I could possibly
Yeah.
imagine.
right.
You know,
Just grinding with other 12-year-olds.
yeah, I was into it. Okay,
I hope I'm totally down for our kids bringing their friends on a spring break activity. I hope our kids' friends, the friends of our children, have cool parents, because nothing sounds more awful than doing like a big group activity with a bunch of fucking lame dads and moms.
I know. Well, and that's the other thing that I'm grateful that your brother and sister-in-law are planning to have a family around when we are.
Hopefully.
It's like,
Yeah, God
okay, you know, that we'll all be able to like raise kids together,
Yeah,
you know? Because
right.
it's like, yeah, you're totally right. Where I'm like, oh, I already have to be nice to so many people that I don't like just in our daily life.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot of work. Okay. Well, that was fun.
Do you like
nice,
those stories?
quick and dirty this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got for news.
Well-
there was more news, but it was all like sad stuff.
I know. It's a little hard right now. We're all just kind of getting through. You know what
The
I mean?
testicles thing is a little sad, but kind of funny.
I mean, not bad. All right. Well, that was Rachel Learns the News.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this next part. So we always tell you guys we make this as interactive as possible. And again, once we're back in our studio in Hollywood, we'll have our producer there, and it makes a lot of this kind of back and forth with you guys a little bit easier. But we're hanging in and we're doing it. So one of the things that we said is we are definitely encouraging you guys, if you are enjoying this, if you like it, please tell your friends, tell your enemies. We will take their viewership as well.
Yeah.
And go on to YouTube, subscribe to our podcast, go on to Apple Podcasts, and
rate, review. Reviews really, really, really help us. Anyone with a podcast will tell you reviews are so important. And so this is Review of the Week. This also just an excuse for me to play another song for a transition. But how good is that song? By
It's
the way?
so good.
So this comes from our dear friend Kayla. She's, a great pal we met out doing the comedy circuit. She is part of something called the Irwin House. They do live events at their house in North Hollywood. So follow their Instagram at the Irwin House, and they do all kinds of cool stuff. We'll be having whenever quarantine ends, at some point we will do a live comedy show there. It's going to be great. We're going to talk about it on the podcast. But this was our favorite review we just got. So Rachel, why don't you read Kayla's review?
Kayla wrote, dynamic duo. I look forward to this every week. Rachel and Alex are so funny and give the perfect amount of comedy. Rachel learns the news is great. Fire emoji. Love you guys. So that is the perfect example of an appropriate review. Send us more. We love it so much.
Yeah, so we're gonna read one every week. So guys, please write. And also, if you put you're allowed to make fun of us in the review. If
Pick on Alex. Don't.
If it's clever, we'll read it. You know what?
That's a slippery slope. This is the internet.
All right.
People could say anything about it.
I'm not scared.
I am. I'm afraid of everything.
Well, you excited for our new segment?
I am. I was just about to pitch it. Or do you want to take it?
You start and I'll tag in.
Okay. Well, I'm excited about this one. So I love giving advice. I love being a humble ear, a solid shoulder.
Doesn't she ever?
A solid shoulder. And so Alex has developed this segment, and this is called LaForce. What's my course?
Similar to Dear Abby, if you've ever heard of that, it was a column people would write in situations they needed advice on. A confrontation they were trying to overcome, or a weird relationship. Excuse me. And this author would respond to them. So, in the spirit of that, I'm calling this LaForce. What's My Course? And you're going to read these. So I found these on the internet, and you're going to read these two here. And you're going to let us know what the course of action is they should take. But we would love to have real ones from you guys. This is the first week we're doing it. Next week, we're going to have questions sent in from the listeners. So you can email us at houserulespod@gmail.com or just DM them to us on Instagram, whatever's easiest for you. All right.
And we can, obviously, they won't be anonymous because we'll know that you sent them to us, but we won't blast you.
Yeah, we're not going to call your name out unless you want us to.
So yeah, if you actually are like wanting some advice, feel free to ask and let us know, and we won't say your name on the podcast. Okay, so this is number 1. I've not read these, by the way. LaForce, what's my course? I met a young couple about a year ago. They invite me out for lunch every few months. They have several children they allow to run all over the place, climb over and under the table, cry and whine, and they make no effort to teach them proper behavior in restaurants. It's so annoying and embarrassing that I no longer want to go out with them. If they ask me why, should I make up an excuse or tell them how I feel about their lack of parenting? I would rather eat out by myself than experience another episode. Lonely, but alone. Alone, but not lonely.
That's like their sign off. Like,
Yeah. I'm just can't read.
Yeah. Okay. So LaForce, what's the course?
Yeah, you just don't go out with them anymore. You don't get to tell them, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to go with you because I have a problem with your parenting. Like,
Yeah, that
clearly they have a problem setting boundaries with their children, and they don't know how to be able to create a different situation where they can go out with you and enjoy a lunch. And because I have plenty of friends that have kids, and I
Yeah.
know now when I go there, the conversation stops and starts, right? So it's, oh my God, that's so exciting. Tyler, get down, please. I'm not going to tell you again. Get down, please. I'm not. So tell
Great
me,
act out.
that was so, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I feel like unless it's family, you just can't.
You can't. Even with family, you can't. Like, unless, and I always say, like, we've got our little neighbor friend who comes over and gardens with me now.
Yeah.
And
6-year-old?
She's so great. And social distance, that's what she'll always say when she'll come over. My mom told me I have to still maintain my 6 feet. And
Miss Rachel?
and so she comes over every day. I'm outside. If I'm outside without fail and she's done with her schoolwork,
I'm
she
not
comes
surprised.
over.
She has no friends she can visit now.
I know. That's as soon as she goes back to school, I'll be chopped liver. But for now, I'm the coolest on the block. So she comes over and gardens with me, and we do stuff in the yard. And her dad had popped over and said something. And he was like, I'm pretty sure it seems like you are comfortable with being around children, because I told him, you know, I teach and whatever, so she's fine. And he was like, if it seems like you're okay setting your own boundaries with her. If you need us to step in and do anything different, please let me know. And I said, no, as long as you're okay. If, you know, if I need to structure her for some sort of reason, like within reason, he was like, of course, I trust your judgment. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's different. Like I asked letting them know, because obviously she's on our property. Like if she's doing something, she's going to get herself hurt or something. And are you okay if I tell her, hey, please get down from there, you know? But you can't go out with people and say anything about the way they parent. You just can't do it.
I know.
It's unavoidable. I'm sorry.
You
and
really
also, like, most kids are annoying. Like, even when they're your own, they're annoying.
Yeah.
Now imagine them not belonging to you and you don't have to, like, protect them.
Yeah, and I just don't understand that. You've worked in restaurants. I mean, when people let their kids run around, it's just so odd to me that the unawareness of it.
Well, listen, I understand people are tired. They've told their kids no how many times.
Yeah.
They just want to go out. It's like, you know, but I feel like you can tell the difference between sometimes people just have a day. You know, and like sometimes like kids just have a day.
I feel
that's different than this ongoing behavior, which
Yeah.
is like they just don't pay attention to it.
I feel like there was a time in the world when kids, like, if you didn't behave, if you just like ran off, you got eaten by a bear. You know, like you had to learn how to like stay with adults and follow the rules.
That's funny.
Like we made it too easy for the dumb ones to live.
Well, that's true. But I was going to say, I thought it was like where there used to be the kids table, you know, where it was
yeah.
you don't speak unless spoken to. Like that was like kids just knew.
I always
you
thought kids'
don't-
table was cool.
Oh my God. I loved the kids table.
It was so fun.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like I remember the kids table transitioning to like, oh, we're teenagers now. Like I so vividly remember that weird transition at Thanksgiving that happened.
Remember being like the oldest kid at kids' table and you like ran shit, right? That's when you feel like you're like, yo, I'm top dog at this table.
Oh my God. Can we do a gangster movie just about 15-year-old you that decides you're going to run stuff at
it
the
wouldn't
table?
be. 15's way too old. It's like you're 10 at the kids' table.
Oh, okay.
15, that's not kids' table.
I don't know. You had a whole thing you were running with.
Maybe
I
if
didn't
you're
wanna-
like, you know, you ride the slow bus, but
Oh, take that back. That's not okay to say.
Oh, I guess that's inappropriate.
Yeah,
Should
you
I-
can't say that.
Should I edit that out?
I know that's not what your intention was, but you can't say that.
Yeah, but dude, or like, remember on Rugrats, there was the kid that was slightly older, and she was like the bully. That, like,
Angelica?
yeah, and she
Yeah.
like ran everything.
Yeah.
That's what it's like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was the youngest of all my cousins, so it
Right.
sounds like you were the oldest. So I never experienced that.
My cousin, it's kind of a mix, but when I remember, I just have memories of being at certain places, and I was like the oldest kid at kids' table.
Oh, okay.
I am older than my sibling, so that makes sense. But
That checks out. Okay.
no, but I guess what I'm saying is like I just reminisce of a time before we were alive when like the world was a little bit more dangerous, so kids just had to fall in line or they wouldn't be around.
That's such a dark comment. Oh my
saying.
gosh. Okay. So I'm going to so the next one is yeah, you got to cut your losses. I'm sorry. You cannot say anything to them about their parenting.
Yeah.
Or you can also say I really value spending time with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like when we all go out, I don't get as much I don't get to focus on you as much as I would like as your friend.
Yeah.
I understand you have a family and you're busy. So if at another time, if I could meet you somewhere or we could catch up, I'm happy to accommodate your schedule
Yeah.
so that I can spend time with you alone.
There's no way
That-
they would respond well to that.
Well, then that's on them. But
Yeah.
they are asking me, what can they do? I think
Fair.
that's totally,
That's fair.
that's
Yeah.
totally appropriate of being like, I enjoy our friendship, but I want to be able to be where, we can focus on each other. I understand that you have a full family, so that's difficult.
Yeah.
Please let me know when you could make yourself available. I'm happy to work around your schedule. And so just you and I get to
You're
spend
giving
time
like really
together.
like well thought out answers.
Isn't that what you wanted?
I did. Well, I thought, yeah, it's good that you're answering because I would have been silly. Okay, last one, and then
All
we
right.
got to wrap things
Okay,
up.
here we go.
But this is a funny one, I thought.
All right, LaForce, what's my course? I live in a high-rise apartment building and have an ongoing issue with my next-door neighbor. She has a boyfriend she is intimate with, and I've often awoken in the middle of the night from their sessions together. I can hear her voice, his voice, and at times the jolting of furniture. I've thought about telling the building management, but it would be obvious that the complaint would have come from me, and I don't want that. I also don't want to cause embarrassment to either of us. How can I address this delicately without causing embarrassment, or must I suck it up and suffer? Sleepless in Chicago.
Have you had this scenario happen?
I have, actually.
I've had it too. Yeah, a building I lived in North Hollywood. Our neighbor, it not only like made noise, but would like say like really graphic things out the window or the window. I'm assuming
out the
or
window.
I guess I would hear. And it was one of those where it was like at first I would giggle, but then like there were times where I was asleep and it would wake me up, and I never knew how to address it. My at the time girlfriend left a note under her mat once.
Yeah.
But we never even like knew the person, so it didn't, it still continued, and she never addressed it to us.
Yeah.
But it was really frustrating because it was like, I'm not gonna knock on the door. I don't want to text. I don't even know their number.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a difficult one, right? Because it's like if you're living in an apartment building, you're already signing on to the things that come along with. Like we experience that in our building.
We don't have. I've never heard anyone.
No, but I'm saying that like other neighbors being loud, and it's like
It's the worst.
what's the line between your being loud and somebody
Is a narc.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think if it's a continual over and over and over again, it's like I do think that you're allowed to say something.
Yeah.
I think so. Because also, like, it's not about embarrassment. Being embarrassed, they know they're loud. There's no way that they are waking you up and not aware
Oh, what if it was like two?
that they're having a romp.
What if it was like two deaf people?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I'm not going to respond to that.
Well,
But
because you're afraid of being insensitive.
I'm not. I don't have enough time to think through what that entails. But I think that we're adults. Do you know what I mean? If you can't go to a neighbor and be like, "Hey, I can hear you having a good time in there," and like that's all good, like good on you. But our landlord, as we're having this discussion, just messaged me
About what?
So I was like,
you
no, it's not applicable.
Okay.
But at first I was like, wait a minute.
Because we had somebody complain that we're too loud and we don't make any noise.
They were like, they're so loud, and it's like they're wearing high heels. And I was like, okay, first of all, then that's not us.
No.
I don't wear heels, much less wear them in the house, and we're never home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you can address it
We
head
do
on.
have someone watching our house, thieves, if you're listening.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, multiple people. But yeah, I think you can always say something. I think that there's always, when you're not going after somebody directly, being like, "You're loud. This needs to stop," but being like, "Hey, I just wanted to bring to your attention, like when you guys are being intimate, it's like really loud, like distractingly loud."
Yeah.
If you're open to like, just working with me here a little bit and like keeping it down, I'm glad you guys are having a good time. But like, you know what I mean?
That's a good answer. I feel like they might. I know some people who might be like, they would just like did not like play like dumb, like what? That wasn't us.
But you have no control over how somebody else responds.
Yeah.
But it's also, I don't know, that whole thing, like, I don't want to embarrass us. It's like, how old do we have to be when we can like admit that everybody has sex? Doesn't mean you want to talk about it with everybody.
Yeah, but there is something sort of like both hilarious and very unsettling hearing your neighbors like really go at it.
Sure, but that's unsettling to hear, and like, unless that's your thing, like, you don't want to hear like.
What if that's for sure a certain.
But it's also because hearing or being privy to something that is sexual when you are in any other realm that's not also being intimate in some way, very off-putting.
Yeah,
very
that's true.
off-putting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Because you're just not in that.
Because it's not in your thing, doing your taxes here, not for me right now.
Yeah, it's such a specific window that you're like down for that.
Not a lot of other things like that exist. Maybe wanting a hamburger.
What?
I feel like you got to be in a mood.
No, I'll always want one.
All
well,
right.
Not these days. We got to really.
This quarantine.
Okay.
I think that wraps up our episode.
I think that's about it. Anything else to send us off?
No, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
NC-17, we're doing it from here in the house. We had a great show last week. We loved you guys tuning in. Keep tuning in. Pop in, even if you can't stay for the whole hour. Pop in, say hello, let us know that you're here, that you love us. Again, we're House Rules. I'm Rachel LaForce.
I'm Alex Gatlin.
We are here live streaming every Monday, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Please write us a review. Send us that review. We will consider it for review of the week. Keep sending us trailers. You can now send LaForce, what's my course? Send us any sort of question. You can make it up. You can make it real. Let us know. You guys be good. Keep doing those fitness videos inside your home. Stay sane. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.